Chapter 3. The Kyoto Crypt. The private Gulfstream jet bearing the discreet logo of FAA Global Holding touched down smoothly at Kansai International Airport under the cover of a rainy dawn. For the rest of the world, Fardous Ahmed Arnob was in Japan to oversee a high-stakes real estate acquisition for the expanding Arnobix hotel chain. In reality, the luxury sedan waiting on the tarmac didn't head toward the neon-lit skyscrapers of Tokyo. It veered northwest, racing toward the misty, bamboo-shrouded mountains of Kyoto. "Satellite imaging is struggling to penetrate the canopy," Rayan said from the passenger seat, his fingers flying across the holographic interface of an upgraded tactical tablet. "The abandoned monastery is right where the text said it would be, but the spiritual interference is off the charts. It's like the entire mountain is actively trying to erase itself from GPS." Arnob kept his eyes on the winding mountain road, his hands steady on the steering wheel. "That means we're in the right place. An artifact that can defy physical form wouldn't just be sitting in an open museum. It's protected by ancient barriers." An hour later, the car came to a halt at the base of a crumbling stone staircase that vanished up into the fog. The air here didn't just feel cold. It hummed with an ancient, resonant power that vibrated against Arnob's chest. Ditching their formal suits for heavy-duty, reinforced tactical jackets developed by Arnobix cloth, the duo ascended the stairs. At the summit sat the ruins of a 1,000-year-old Edo-period monastery. The wooden beams were rotted, moss clinging to the ancient shrines, but the aura of protection remained absolute. "The entrance to the subterranean crypt should be beneath the main altar," Rayan muttered, adjusting a pair of scanning lenses, a prototype designed to read spiritual energy cores. "Wait, Arnob, look at the energy readings. We aren't the first ones here today." Arnob's hand instinctively drifted to the salt phosphorus canister at his belt. "The charmer. Worse. His advance vanguard. I'm picking up multiple low-frequency shadow signatures inside." Without another word, they moved like shadows through the ruined temple doors. Inside the main hall, the floorboards around the central Buddha statue had been violently ripped apart, revealing a dark, descending stone tunnel. The stench of ozone and dark magic was fresh. They slipped into the darkness of the crypt, moving silently down the damp stone steps. The tunnel opened into a massive, cavernous chamber supported by ancient pillars. In the center of the room sat a stone pedestal surrounded by a perfectly circular ring of water. Floating directly above the pedestal was a weapon that defied belief. It looked like a sleek, traditional Japanese katana, its blade glowing with a brilliant, pulsing blue light. Strange, shifting geometric runes etched themselves along the metal, constantly changing shape. But surrounding the pedestal were four cloaked figures, their hands outstretched as they channeled dark, purple miasma toward the blade, trying to corrupt its barrier. Resting on the shoulders of the lead cultist was a massive, glowing shadow serpent. "They're trying to force a soul tether onto the Shinka Blade," Rayan whispered sharply, raising his tactical flashlight. "If they corrupt it, the charmer wins." "Not on my watch," Arnob said, his voice dropping to a deadly calm. "Rayan, blind the cultists. I'm going for the blade." Initiating flashbang resonance in 3, 2, 1. Rayan slammed the trigger on his tablet. The prototype lenses on his eyes protected him as a deafening high-intensity UV flash exploded from his device, illuminating the dark crypt like a miniature sun. The blessed light tore through the shadows, causing the cultists to shriek in agony as their dark channeling was violently disrupted. The shadow serpent roared, lunging wildly through the blinding light. Arnob didn't hesitate. He sprinted across the stone floor, leaping over the circular ring of water. The moment his feet left the ground, the lead cultist recovered, commanding the shadow serpent to intercept him mid-air. The creature's jaws snapped open, ready to swallow Arnob's soul. Arnob reached out, his fingers brushing against the hilt of the floating sword. The moment his skin made contact with the ancient metal, a massive shockwave of pure, blinding blue energy erupted through the chamber. The runes on the blade flared violently, matching the rapid beat of Arnob's heart. The sword didn't just accept him, It bonded with him instantly. Shift, Arnob thought instinctively, channeling his own spiritual energy into the hilt. The katana dissolved into a liquid blue light, flowing around his wrist and hardening into a heavy, sleek tactical wristwatch with glowing blue runes on the bezel. Before the shadow serpent could land, Arnob tapped the watch face. Blade form. In a fraction of a second, the light extended back into his hand, solidifying into the flawless, razor-sharp Shinka blade. With a fluid, sweeping arc, Arnob slashed through the air. The blade passed right through the physical space, but the moment it struck the shadow serpent, the creature gave a final, agonizing howl as its very spiritual core was cleanly severed in half. The serpent dissolved into harmless black ash. The remaining cultists backed away in terror, realizing the legendary weapon had chosen its master. The weapon. It has awakened, the lead cultist hissed, backing into the shadows of a rear exit tunnel. Enjoy your fleeting victory, boy. The charmer already has the girl. If you want her to survive the next sunset, you will bring the blade to him. With a sudden burst of smoke, the cultists vanished into the dark tunnels. Arnob, we have to go, Rayan shouted, running up to the pedestal as the ancient crypt began to shudder and collapse from the release of energy. They have Maya. Arnob stared at the glowing blade in his hand, then willed it back into the shape of the wristwatch. His face was a mask of cold fury. The charmer thought he had the upper hand, but he had no idea what he had just unleashed. Let's get to the car, Arnob said, turning toward the exit as stones began to rain down around them. It's time to show the charmer what happens when he steps into my territory. What do you think is going to happen in the next chapter?